Hello, and welcome back to the Ginger Joe Racing Show, proudly sponsored by Oddschecker. I'm sure you know my wingmen by now, the boss there, Ginge, and the fella from France, Scotty by a Bulls. We're going to keep it short and sweet, lads. We're going to go through all the grey ones. We have a few handicappers at the end. I really fancy one, the Hunter's Chase. Joe has one, Scotty has two. And then on Thursday, as Joe proudly announced on X today, we call it X now. I'm actually getting used to calling it X now. That we're going to go through the runner by guide for the national, especially when we have the 34 runners declared. And we'll go through the reserves as well, I suppose. If we fancy them, don't fancy them, where they'll finish, and all that, blah, blah, blah. So we'll keep this if we can under an hour, or even to an hour and a half would be great. And we'll go through all the grade ones. And we'll kick off with the 145 on the Thursday, 2.5 mile Manifesto Novice Chase, a grade one. And the favourite here is the Arkle winner, Django Bay, at 5-2. In Perry Pass 11-4, 3-1 now, Crow Park, 6-1 Gidley Park, 6-1 Handstand, maybe in the 3 miler, Rubo 14s, and 18-1 the Kaluki Kid. Boss man Ginge, we'll start off with you. Is the Arkle winner a good thing here? I've stepped up into it.
Do you know what, Jamie? It feels like it should be, but I'm just not so sure. Something is niggling me about him, and I don't actually know what it is at this point in time. Croke Park's starting to catch my eye a little bit here. He's a horse that you sort of assume wants a bit of soft ground, but he has one on good ground over 3 miles, and he also beat Better Days Ahead over 2.5 on good to yield in. He's won the Royal Drimore as well, so he probably ticks a lot more boxes than what meets the eye. I can't have Gidley Park. Django Bay, I just can't figure out at the moment. It's quite soon after Cheltenham. It used to be an old scenario, didn't it, where they'd say whatever finishes second and third at Cheltenham, you then back to win at Aintree. I don't know how sort of true or strong that remains now. Um, and then you're sort of inclined just to look straight in Perry Pass, but is he really that much of a strong finisher? Is he really a chaser? I'm struggling a little bit here, Jamie. You can get 5-1 for Croke Park at the moment. Perhaps I'd take the muggy angle and back him each way.
Yeah, you can get 5-1 the best odds, isn't it, with Crow Park and choose 3-1, bet 365. Yeah, 5-1 the best price, actually. I go on to the best odds here on the Racing Post. We won't mention any bookies. So, well, we can because we're odds checker. So, yeah, he's 5-1 best price, Croke Park. Scotty, I'm kind of with Croke Park myself, especially he hasn't gone to, it didn't go to Cheltenham, second Ballyburn, one to Drimore on good ground, and he's form on good ground. I can't have Imperial Pass on the ground, to be honest with you. Django Bay had a hard race to win the Arkle. Gidley Park, handstands, probably go to the 3 miler. What you fancy?
Yeah, I looked for a good while at the race, Jay, and I'm the opposite to Ginger, like Gidley Park, but I think he may go in the race on the Saturday, the 2 miler. So I'll be keen on him maybe later in the week. But I thought Django Bay was the standout one. I know he won the Arkle and he only just got there on the line, so the step up in trip is obviously going to help him. He's already a Grade One winner over 2.5 this year. But I'm with you, boys. I think Croke Park is the safe bet in the race. I think, like Joe said, 5-1 each way is a backable price. People were crabbing Gordon Elliott for not sending him to Cheltenham over 3 miles, but he's got obviously got Grade One form over 2.5, winning the Drinmore. He obviously won again in the season in the graded race when I think he beat was it Better Days Ahead he beat. So yeah, for me, I think the form's rock solid with him. I think the rest of them are all kind of like handicappers and horses that are not good enough. The likes of Jordan's Rubo, I think, is a horse I think's probably not up to the quality. Impere Pass, I don't know. Obviously, we're doing it on Monday. Final decks. Is he going to turn up? He could. He's entered in the Old Pals Gold Cup at Fairy House. He's got the entry in the 3 mile. He's even got an entry in the Irish Grand National. So I just wouldn't be touching him on the ground anyway. So yeah, for me, Croke Park is again the play in the race. I'm with you.
There's been a form boost there as well, lads, hasn't there? Obviously, Hartwood finished second in the Ryanair. Croke
Yeah,
Park beat
Yes,
him. I mean, it's
yeah,
pretty strong, isn't it? Like,
very
yeah.
good form.
I
yeah,
think he's better on better ground as well. I think he'll take. I think he'll take a world of beating. To be honest with you.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Sorry, only quick. Like I
Hey,
said,
Grant.
Jake, like you'd assume he'd want soft ground, being like by
Mm,
walking the park and just being like
mm,
a plodder, but he is proven on this ground, so
yeah,
I don't see why
yeah.
he
I think
shouldn't at least
he's.
win his
I
race
think he's
today.
valued at 5-1 anyway, without a doubt.
Where do you think handstands is going, by the way?
I think he'll go on the 3 miler
Is
because the
he?
ground quick. To be honest with you, I don't think he'll turn up.
Does
Because remember,
he?
I said at Sandown the start of the season that he needs soft ground and he won the Esher
Yeah,
novice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
did have a look at that, right? So he has won on good ground, but as a novice hurdler, but
mm,
it's possible that he was just miles clear of what was in that race. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
I
then when
think
he
he'll go in the 3 miler on the Friday. Yeah, yeah.
and then when he went chasing, he did have an effort on good ground, but he fell. So we haven't really got like a line of form or anything to. to go on there. So
I will
yeah,
touch him. Anyway, we'll move on. So there's mainly Croke Park, 5-1 for all of us. So we'll move on to the 220, the Bulls anniversary 4-year-old juvenile hurl, and the favourite, second in the triumph, for Nicky Henderson at 4-5. It's Lulamba, 9-2 Lady Vega Lane. We now know Hello Neighbour's not coming. Live Conti is 8-1. Put your hands together, 12s. Naturally Nibble, 14s. And a very interesting first time out winner that was well back to Kelso, 25-1. Philip Bustering for Harry Durham, and it's 25-1 bar. Scotty, we'll stick off with you. If Lolamba had another run in the Adonis, would have won the Triumph? I think it would have, with the experience. Will he win here? And do you fancy anything each way against him?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the banker of the day, Jay. To answer your question, quite possibly, I think just lack of experience maybe caught him out of Cheltenham, especially going up a massive undulating run in track like Cheltenham. I don't think he lost anything in defeat there, and I think he's the banker of the day here. To be honest with you, I think 4-5 is a backable price. Like you said, Helen Aber coming out of the race is a massive plus for the fans of Lulamba. The only one that really caught my eyes in each way play is the Skeleton Horse Live Conti. He's 8-1. I think he was very impressive at Weatherby. The last time he ran, I think he's been kept with this race in mind, and obviously the connections like to have runners at Aintree, the old Hales and Ferguson colours. So yeah, he'd be my each way play at 8, but for me it's all about Lulamba. I'll even do like a little cheeky reverse forecast just in case. But for me, yeah, definitely Lulamba will win, and I think Live Conti will hit the frame.
Yeah, I'm saying there about the experience with Lulamba, but people have to remember, even regardless if he was 100-1 winner over first time over hurdles, Pointer Ross has had multiple runs on the flat, and he knows how to race as a racehorse compared to Lulamba. Joe, 4-5 would interest you, and do you think anything each way against him?
no, look, I like the fact, like we were saying about how close Cheltenham is to Aintree, and I suppose usually it does give me a slight concern. But like you said, because he didn't run in the Adonis, I think he'd still be plenty of fresh to run here. He just sets a massive standard, to be honest with you. The speed figure that he put up compared to anything in the race is just obscene, to be honest. And I'll keep it short and sweet. I just think he gets the job done. I think this is where we're actually going to see a really big performance from him. Yeah, banker of day one for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm going to put up a horse each way in the race. I don't fancy that like Conti, even though he has plenty of potential and he was very good
Can
at
can I
Weatherby on
guess?
debut.
Can I have
But
one
I was
guess?
seriously, go on,
Is it Philly Bustering?
nope.
No, okay.
And I liked him on debut. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think the Bulls winner will love the ground. And I thought he was. I know. Look, he was thrown in off 130, and he's gonna have what 13 pounds out to 143. I thought he was very impressive. The most impressive Bulls winner I've seen, and he was going away at the line. He will love
Mhm.
the ground, and yeah, he was very. And look, the way he won at Cork. Was it his second run? He won at Cork, and he put up a good time, and the ground was good. So this is like flatbread horse, really put your hands together. So I think the better the ground, the flatter the track. I know it's one at Cheltenham, it's one at Cork. He's 12-1, and I think he's in each way back to nothing against Lulamba, but obviously I'm with you. I think Lulamba will win too. So we'll move on to the 255, the entry bowl, the grade one. And 9-4 favourite here is Grey Dawning. 11-4 Spinance Tower, 6-1 Gaelic Warrior, who has multiple entries, 6-1 Stage Star, 7-1 Ahoy Senor, 8-1 Protectorac, who go in the Melling Chase. And NBC Gardens are no favourite of Scotties at 12s, the Red Whacker at 16s, and Jello is 20s. Joe, I'm actually struggling with this race. Really am. You
Yeah.
could make a case for a lot of horses in this. Talk to me.
Yeah, look,
Who do you think?
I'm exactly the same as you. The fact that we've got good ground just makes it a bloodbath, really, of a race. I certainly wouldn't want to be back in 9-4 about Grey Dawning because of that reason. I do probably think he's at this point in time the most talented horse in the race, but on this fast ground, he's certainly not proven on it. It's not sure to exactly run his race. I don't think Spillan's Tower's coming here, is he? I think he's going to be going to Punchestown by the
I
sounds
think
of
so too,
things.
yeah. It could be, yeah.
So that then throws it wide open. Can't be having a Hoy Senor. Protectorate, not convinced on the fast ground either. This is a struggle. Perhaps the real whacker from the front would go well at 16
Yeah,
to 1
better
on the
ground.
basis that this is good ground. If it was anything softer, he wouldn't be on my radar. But, whilst it's as open as it is and we haven't got the ground to suit most of these, then, flat track, he might do well from the front in them. a tentative each way selection on the real whacker, I suppose. He's not one I'd be fond of for the most part, but this good ground is a big factor in that for me.
16 to 1 each way. The real whacker for Joe. Scotty?
Oh, I'm really excited about this race.
Hi.
I think I found one. I
What?
really think I found one which stands out for me. Um,
Is it your favorite? Is it your Jello?
it's not. Do you know what? I'm like you. I've put the lines through so many in this race. I think it's massively easy to solve. The likes of a Hoyson, I know he likes Aintree. He's too old. I think he's past his best. Blue Lord conflated, all of those horses. Grey Dawning needs soft ground like his head. He beat the most overhyped horse.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
He beat the most overhyped horse in training in Morocco the last day up in Scotland. Stage star for me, over 3 miles, second time over the distance
I
at
knew it.
Aintree,
I knew
going
it.
left-handed.
Knew it.
I
Go
think
on.
he's definitely got a chance in this race, and 6 to 1, I think, is an each way bet to nothing. He will definitely be in the frame, and even if Spillens Tower did turn up, I don't think I don't think he's a free miler. I don't think he would like the ground anyway, so I'd be totally against him regardless. So I just think stage stars are knocking each way bet at sixes. I'm actually quite excited by it, to be honest. So yeah, he's a very strong selection for me in the race.
Lovely. Joe with the real backer. Stage star for Scotty at 6 to 1. And I am definitely staying out of this because I haven't a clue. I will say that if Spillane Tower came over, he should be better than all of them. But I don't think he is. And then you have to remember last year, it was good to yielding last year, which is good to soft in Ireland when he won at Punchestown. So I think he's very go on any ground, but obviously he's better on soft to heavy. But if he came over, he should be better than all these. But I'll leave my powder dry for that race because I don't think I'll have a bet in it. I think it's one of the worst grade ones I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, we won't get into the Lecky Watts and stuff after getting cribbed over that. But anyway, we'll move on. Oh God, brighter days ahead. Bottle job. But anyway, 3:30. The entry.
I don't know if she's a bottle job. She tried to take him on at Cheltenham, didn't she, to be fair?
They bottled it. So, 3:30. The William Hill entry hurdle, the grade one, and the favorite is the English favorite son in the 4 to 5, the greatest hurdler of all time. I'm Constitution Hill. Last team out is 2 to 1. Wood Hugh now is 10 to 1. Kitzbühel Hell 16s, 25s Jimmy the Soy, and 33 to 1 Bar. 4 to 5 Constitution Hill Scotty against Lassie Mo to 2 to 1. Who wins?
She has to win. This is the race for her, mate. I think the 2.5 miles is her trip. I said it before Cheltenham. I wasn't like keen on her for the Mess Hurdle just because of the whole back and forth thing, and I just let her go that day. For me, she going left-handed in over 2.5 miles, regardless of the ground, you have to back her against him. This is the day. If she is going to beat him, it would be today. Um, she's just not a two-miler, is she? I don't think. The whole race that gets me was the race 2 years ago where Constitution Hill beat a pensioner in Sharjah in this race. And for me, he looked visually impressive, but I don't think he was. I think he was struggling, and I think he only just made it home. And I think Lossiemouth will come there and she'll serve it up to him, and I think she'll beat him.
Lovely, Scotty. Joe, are you with Scotty?
No, I'm actually with Con Hill this time, Jamie. Been very much against him all season long. Tried to take him on with brighter days ahead. I don't think Lossy Mouth's the one that can beat him though, personally. I know 2 Mile 4's probably going to be her trip. And look, we still haven't seen Con Hill come off the bridle, but I did like the way he was traveling. I did like the way he was jumping for the most part. I think he's going to take some stopping here. I think 4 to 5 is a fairly good price. And like I said, I haven't been with him all season long, but I think this is going to be his time to shine now.
I'm 100% sorry with Mr. Scotty Ruderham here. I think Lassie Mode is a 2.5 miler. Yeah, I think Constitution Hill want to be back to his very best to beat Lassie Mode over 2.5 miles in any track. And the ground, I think she'll just, I'm honest, I think she'll just beat him for speed. The way she won the Mayor's Hurdle, I know it's the Mayor's Hurdle, and what she beats is what she's beating and what's in front of her. But no, I think she'll be Constitution Hill all day long.
Would
Yeah.
you back Wadu if she turned up each way?
Oh God, no, no chance.
She's got obviously a lot to find. You just don't know
The
Hand
ceiling of her,
engineers, do
yes.
you?
The ceiling of her, yes. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
if they change the conditions of the mare's hurdle, she's definitely going to go there next year. The Cheltenham, and
Mm.
she'd have to have a favor in the top three favorite chance anyway to win that race if they change the outcome of the race anyway.
The only thing
Uh,
when
Go on, yeah.
Sorry, the only thing when you're backing like each way horses as well, I've said it to my Discord group so many times, and then Johnny Deneen said it as well on up in the ante. But you're backing a horse each way, you want to ensure you've got a winner's chance as well, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Hmm.
and I'm not necessarily sure she realistically has the beating of either Lossiemouth or Constitution Hill. So you're almost throwing away the win part of your bet
Hmm.
straight away, unless you obviously think she can beat them. But it's a
Yeah.
tall order, isn't it?
Right, lads, that's Thursday wrapped up. Any handicap fancies or any other rest? There's the 2 mile handicap, there's the Hunter's Chase, and there is the Mare's Bumper.
Not from me. Not from me.
Scotty? Scotty has frozen for 1 second. Nap Sojo of day one is Lanamba.
It's got to be Lilamba for me. Yeah, I think he's a good thing.
Yeah. Scotty, okay. Anything in the last three races for
Sorry, I
Thursday?
lost my connection then.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are we talking here? Sorry.
Last three races, anything? The Hunter's Chase, the Red Rum, or the Mare's Bumper?
On the Thursday,
Yeah.
yeah, in the 440, I'm quite keen on Brookie in the 2 mile handicap in the Red Rum. I just think he's got some decent form. Doncaster, impressive the last time, beat the likes of Tommy's Oscar, horses who were reopposing. He was just a horse who I thought would have a good chance in the race. I know it's a tough race, but it was just one that I bookmarked, and I thought 12 to 1 was a good each way bet.
That's Brookie in the Red Rum, the 440 on Thursday for Scotty. Nap on day one, Scotty Lanamba.
I think he's the banker, but I'm going to nap stage star. I'm going to change my mind.
Good man, Scotty.
Very
Good
good.
man.
And one for me, and I think it's the 405, yeah, the 405, the Hunter's Chase. I thought there was eye catching, one of the most eye catching runs of the whole Cheltenham Festival was in the Hunter's Chase. He was third behind Wonderwall, and it's on the line in the Hunter's Chase, bought by the Morans. Will it go ahead? Has form on good ground around Thurles. The better the ground, I think the better his chance. Step back to 2 miles 5 here in the Hunter's Chase. I think the way he travelled in the Hunter's Chase at Cheltenham, he just didn't stay. I think the drop back and triple suit him, the ground would suit him, and I think he should be better than all this with a bit of luck around the national fences. So he will be my nap of day one. Will it go ahead instead of Lamba? We'll stretch it out a small bit. Right, that's Thursday wrapped up in quick time. So we'll move on to the 145 on Friday. It's the Wild May Novice Chase over 3 miles one. And it's the favourite here, which I think he might go here, is Handstands at 2 to 1 for Ben Pauling. Yes, Ben Jones is shocked up. Caldwell Potter, the mighty Caldwell Potter now at 9 to 2. Dancing City 8s. Stellar Story 8s. Imperial Pass is probably about 2.5. Key to Bourbon 10s. Don't rightly know for Polycountry 14 to 1. And 16 to 1 Bar. Scotty, are you still a Dancing City fan?
I am, Jamie, but I just was disappointed with Cheltenham, to be honest. Maybe everyone's right. Maybe he just needs a bit of softer, heavy ground. Maybe something like the Irish National next year, the Grand National next year could be more his cup of tea. I wouldn't rule him out running a big race in the Gold Cup next year if he gets his ground. But no, for me, I'll be taking him on here. I've been a big handstands fan for the last couple of times he's ran. You mentioned earlier in the show that maybe the ground is probably not in his favour here, but I just think he's a very honest horse and he just goes from the front and. There's not a lot that I can take him on with, Jamie, to be honest with you. Maya Town, impressive in the Ultima, but again, got a stone to find.
Mhm.
It's a grade one form handstands has got, and I know Maya Town was impressive in the Ultima, but for me, I can't really look past the favourite here. It's probably a boring selection, and I think the only one that could potentially hit the frame at 20 to 1, maybe the Changing Man. He's another good, honest horse, but again, has a lot to find, and I think there's a lot in the race that could be going elsewhere. So for me, the Changing Man is an each way play. Um, Maybe My Town is the next best after him, but I'm just going to keep it straight. I think handstands will win.
Joe?
Yeah, difficult one to dissect there. Similar, like Scotty said, I've never been a massive fan of Dancing City, as you know, but my problem with him is that he hasn't been necessarily like tactically versatile. But if he turns up here on a flat track, I'd give him some sort of each way chance, to be honest. I don't know actually if he is meant to be turning up here or not, but I just don't think he really likes Cheltenham. Proper undulating course, but I think he'd much prefer it here at Aintree, and I could see him going really close. He's got some good form from here last year as well. I actually quite like Town. I know Scotty said he's got a lot to find, and he does, but He's certainly improving still. He won with a whacking hand last time out. They could have put him up to 145 if they wanted to. I'd back him now each way at 16 to 1 on the likeliness that this is going to cut up a lot. I'd be fine to take the 16 to 1 each way on him. But if Dancing City does turn up, this will be the only time this season that I have fancied him for a race. So Mere Town each way now. If Dancing City turns up, I will actually be backing him, yeah.
I am actually with you 100%, Joe. 8 to 1. Because of his form,
Yeah.
beating the jukebox band by 5.5 lengths. I don't think you'll ever see Dancing City at Cheltenham again. He's not a Cheltenham horse. He doesn't like it. He's a flat track horse. And look, Caldwell Potter was impressive, but what did he beat in a novice handicap is my question. And I think handstands, I think, might struggle on the ground. So Dancing City won on good team and beat High Class Hero in the Punchestown Festival. He can go on any ground to me.
Mm.
And I think the flatter the track, the flatter, and the way he won last year at Aintree. So 8 to 1 to me, I'm with you 100%, is massive. The form is there by him. I thought he ran well enough in that bad Brown Advice Reef. He was leading all the way to the bend. So I think they might go out in front here in Entry and it might be a different story on a flatter track. So I will be with him with you. 8 to 1 is massive. Right, we move on to the 2.5, 2 mile, half a furlong, 255, the top novices hurdle. And the favourite here is the Supreme Third in Romeo Coolio, 5 to 4. Triply Flyer 3s, Salvatore Monday 11 to 2. 10's Diva Luna, 12 to Gosher, 16 to 1. Fingy Bridge, is it? Fingal Bridge. And Jet to Vegas 61 bar. I have a big fancy in this. I will go first. I think Tripoli fires an absolute bloody certainty. The way he won the Dove Cut. Beating, what did he beat? What was that
Miami
name?
Magic.
Miami Magic, and he beat Celtic Dino. And the way he ran to the line on good ground. I think Romeo Coolby ran off his feet here. I think he should be in the 2.5 miler. Salvatore Monday, I think is good enough. I don't never like that horse. Diva Luna ran okay in the Mayor's Novice. I
Mm.
think because he skipped Cheltenham, 3 to 1 is massive. I think he's definitely my napper. I think he's one of the bankers of the meeting. Triple E flyer all day. Take me on, Joe.
Yeah, look, Romeo Coolio for me, James. The only thing with this Tripoli flyer, right? If you go back and look at his form, the last two or three rides, he's bled every time. I find it really strange. There's two out of the last three or three out of the last four times. He has bled. That's a big concern for me. I think he'll be a smashing novice chaser next year. Um, 2.5 miles, 3 miles, I think he'll be superb. But I do believe Romeo Coolio is going to be too good here. I'm a little bit of a fanboy, mind, because I'm, you know, friends with a couple of the owners, so I take that into consideration, I suppose. But I do ultimately think he's going to prove too good here. I think he'll love Aintree as well. I think they'll ride him how they rode him in the, is it the Future Novices,
Mm-hmm.
Future Stars, whatever, when he beat, did he beat Carnacay that day, something like that?
Well, Blood of
No,
Ashley.
Blue Devassi, that's it. Scotty's, one Scotty liked. Um, yeah, I think Romeo Cooley is just going to prove too good here. Can't put my finger on Tripoli Flyer. I think he'll be good as a novice chaser next year, though. I think that's when to side with him. Again, I might be being a little bit biased, like so. I've got to listen to your sort of bullishness about him as well. But I'll stick with the favourite for the time being. Yeah.
Scotty.
I do like Tripoli Fly, but I'm slightly concerned about two things. Firstly, I don't think he's the best jumper. Um, I think he's prone to a mistake, and like Joe said, the bleeding issue is just a bit worrying, isn't it? I think he was declared to run in the Supreme, and they pulled him at the last minute. I don't know what the reason was for that, to be honest, but it's a slight concern. I'm taking a swing here. I bookmarked one earlier in the season for the Skeltons, and I know he's a big price and he disappointed at Haydock, but I do like Royal Infantry.
Yeah.
Finished eighth in the bumper last year behind Jasmine DeVoe. I thought it was a poor bumper, but obviously Romeo Coolio was third in the Supreme. The Yellow Clay, who was sick, almost won the Ballymore. I just think it's a race that's working out pretty solid. And um, yeah, I mean, his form's on softer ground, to be honest with you. He's got form on soft ground. He's got form on good ground last season when at the likes of Chepstow, he won his maiden hurdle in November. I just think he's a big price, Jamie, at 20s, and it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen something at Aintree pop up at a decent price and win a big novice hurdle. I think Lucinda Russell's done over 3 miles with the likes of Apple Away. Ahoy Senor won at the meeting at 66 to 1. I think this race could be set up for an upset, and if there's one that could do it, I think it could be Royal Infantry. So I think a big field tucked away. I think he was a bit off his feet the last time at Haydock in the ground. I just think if they get him to settle and he gets into a good rhythm, I think there'd be worse 20 to 1 shots at the meeting. I think he's got a chance of definitely hitting the frame. And I don't think it's the worst each way bet, like Joe says. You've got to have a chance of winning. I think he's got a chance of winning. So he'd be not a massive fancy, but for me, definitely an each way play in a race.
Lovely. Bit of a mixed bag there. Romeo Cudio, Tripoli Flair, and Royal Infantry. So there's a good spread there, like that. So we move on to the Melling Chase over 2.5 miles, the grade one at 3:30 on Friday. And the favourite is John Bon at 4 to 5, last year's winner. 5 to 1 Gaelic Warrior, 6 to 1 Heartwood, 7 to 1 El Fabiola, 8 to 1 Protectorate, 16 to 1 NBC Gardens, 33 to 1 Master Chewy. I just go first. John Bond will just retain his title. This is his trip probably at the time. He won this really just about last year, but he still won, and I think he'll take the world of beating here. Scotty, but he just went.
Yeah, it's hard to really go against him, Jamie, isn't it? Let's be honest. Again, I spent a bit of time dissecting the race. I know Hartwood's probably the one if there was to be an upset. He's got the form, second in the Ryanair, second in the Drimmore, I think he was earlier in the season. If there was one that could finish second to John Bon, maybe taking a swing, Master Chewy ran okay in the Ryanair. I think the flatter track will suit him. Aintree, it's probably a course that he'll go well at. So John Bon will just win and maybe chuck Master Chewy in for the forecast.
Lovely. Joe.
Yeah, look, I'm not one for doubles and trebles and all of this stuff, but I'll probably back Conhill, Lulamba, and John Bon actually. I think Nicky might be able to get a bit of redemption here at Aintree. I definitely wouldn't be overlooking Hartwood too quickly, though. I think he's a very, very good horse. Ultimately, though, I think John Bon will get it done. Any love for El Fabiolo, fellas? I know his jump has been poor, but
I think he's
engine-wise,
gone. I think he's
I
gone at the game.
you
think
think?
he's gone. I
Yeah.
think he's gone. Yeah. No, I wouldn't give up on it. Look, the last day was kind of a strange race. I would say that, and it was his first time out in a while because he didn't really race at the Dublin Race Festival. So this will tell a lot. It
Mm.
will, but I think he's. I don't know. I'm 50-50 with him. 50-50 with him, but I think John Bond's way ahead of him now compared to
He's
the Arkle days. Yeah.
he's still a 170 rated chaser. Like he has got stuff to prove. I'm not sort of saying he doesn't like, but don't know. Just when you look at a card and one just keeps catching your eye, and I'm like, it almost feels far too obvious. I think John Bob wins, but don't be surprised if we get an upset here.
Hmm.
But a John Bond each way for Hartwood and El Fabiolo. Right, we move on to the 440, the Sefton Novices Hurdle over 3 miles, half a furlong. And the favourite for Nicky Henderson is Calais Oden Fall at 5 to 1. 5 to 1 Jacob's Ladder. 6 to 1 Mr. Megget. Battleborn Lead is 8 to 1. Familiar Dreams tens. JetBlue tens. 12's Honesty Policy. Moon Rocket 14 to 1. Wade Out 16 to 1. Argento by 20s. Joe, I fancy one here, and I'll leave it
Yeah,
to you. And I think we're going to say the same one. But anyway, I might be wrong.
well, yeah, possibly, possibly. I actually there's a couple of pieces of form in here with Wendigo. Battleborn Lad actually beat Wendigo earlier in the season, but
Hmm.
he was just sort of beaten in a little bit of a sprint there. I would possibly be inclined here to take a look. Again, I really like Mr. Megget. I really, really like Mr. Megget as a horse. I don't know. He's got to come and do it fresh. It's a difficult race, this one, James, to be honest. I quite like a horse here called Moon Rocket, though, for Kim Bailey. He's a really consistent horse who's probably going to love this sort of track. A nice flat track, gallops all day long. You can get 14 to 1 about him at the moment. I'd say this has been the plan pretty much since he got beat by Battleborn Lad last time out. And I think he's just a lot better than what we've seen already. Trip shouldn't be an issue for him. He wouldn't be the worst each way play. I'm actually struggling for a win bet here. Mr. Mega almost seems far too obvious. Um, yeah, look, Moonrocket or Mr. Mega for me, but again, tentatively.
I'm with you, Joe, there as well. It's just, I think it's just a poor race, man. It's a poor
Yeah,
one. Look, John Joe's jocked here instead of the 2.5 miler, and he's entered in 2.5 miler on Saturday. But look, he's jocked here. I'm going to say that he's going here instead of the 2.5 miler because I fancy something else for the 2.5 miler anyway. Uh, yeah, I think he's just so poor on his potential, and he won on good ground, and he looked. He looked a baby the last. But that was October, wasn't it? November time in
November.
Aintree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that poor, and I think 6 to 1. If you think of he's a horse of massive potential, which I think he is, I might just back him on the day, and it's
Hmm.
just tentative like you. I don't really fancy anything else in the race. Let's be honest with you, Scotty.
Yeah, again, not a massive. I first wrote down here, looking through the race, no strong opinion, but then the Honeyball horse, Crest of Fortune, caught my eye. He's one of those again that could be. He could not be that good, but then just could be. He could be good. It's one of those again, a bit of a swinger at 25s. He just caught my eye at Air when he won earlier in the month. He beat a horse of Lucinda's called Jupiter Des Mottes, and it was over just over 2.5 miles. I thought the step up and trip would suit him here. Big galloping track like Aintree. He was running through the line that day and he wasn't stopping, and they took a while to pull him up. I thought at 25s he was worth a little each way look of interest. I'm a big fan of Jacob's Ladder. Really impressed with him, but I think his form's garbage. Beating Joystick, he's one that could maybe have just flattered on the eye. Maybe the last day he's 5-1. Maybe he's a bit short, but he's a horse that I do like. Jacob's Ladder, definitely a chaser for next season. But for me, yeah, Crest of Fortune, Honeyball horse. I'd take a small each way play at 25s and just hope that a lot of these are horses like Mr. Mega is one I do like, but I agree with everything. I don't like the preparation. Obviously, he's had his setbacks this season. The horses like Jet Blue, Ballybow, Argento Boyle turning up from the Albert Bartlett all had hard races. So for me, yeah, Crest of Fortune as an each way bet, Jamie.
Lovely. Sorry, anything else for Friday, Scotty?
Yeah, I've got one in the top. Again, it's not a big fancy, but I just thought the fences could maybe bring the best out of him, and that's Marble Sands. He's been hunting away this season. I think he beat Colonel Harry in the Colin Parker up at I think it's Carlisle earlier in the season. He was sent
Mhm.
off second favourite that day. I thought he did the job well. Um, I think he was second in Springwell Bay on New Year's Day over the 2.5, the ill-fated Springwell Bay, of course. So yeah, I just thought if he got round and got into a good jumping rhythm, I thought he was. I can't remember what price he is. I think he's about 16s.
Mhm.
I just thought he was just one of interest, Jamie. Probably the handicaps are very difficult until we see the final declarations. But if he turned up, I'd give him another each way chance. But just messing around on the Friday, maybe with some small multiples at bigger prices. That's the way I look at the day, to be honest.
Yeah, good shout, good shout. Like James the Burley and Arizona Cardinal are coming back a pound lower and a pound higher, so they're priced accordingly at 8 and 12 to 1, first and second favorite, I suppose, in that race. So they're coming back, I think, to give it another crack, I suppose. But a good shout there. Naps on for Friday, lads. I will say Triple E Flyer all day.
Yeah,
Yourselves,
taking you on Romeo Coolio, James. Yeah, but we'll see.
Scotty. Nap on Friday.
I I don't really have a nap. Do you know what? I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to say handstands. Just because I think he's a better price than John Bon.
Lovely. Right, we move on to Saturday, the 155, the Turners Merseys Novices Hurdle over 2.5 miles. Lamba is written up as the favourite here at 5-2, which won't happen. Romeo Hulu, 5-2 won't happen. So now I think technically the favourite is Henry's Bromwell Train, Cocktail Divan at 4-1. Mr. Mega could be for the 3 milers, 5-1 here. 6-1 Blood of Asti, 6-1 Miami Magic. Horace's Pearl is 8-1. Fingal Bridge is tens. Good and clever is 10-1. Honesty Policy tens. Regent's Stroll tens. A lot of 12s to 1. Bar. I will go first again with the way Cocktail Divan has the form. 4-1, I think, is huge. One on good ground at Leopardstown the Sunday before Cheltenham, the week before Cheltenham, has form with William Money, who was second in the Supreme, was third to him over 2.5 miles. Um, Sorry, that was over 2 miles against William Money and Cowan Bunga. Second to Kate Doughty, who was being poor afterwards, but it's just the way it won the last day. One easy. Uh, William Money form was totally got me. So I think 4-1. Cocktail Divan will win this anyway with a process of huge elimination here. Joe, Horace's Pearl, do you like that? I noticed the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
yeah,
Would you be a fan here?
yeah, I would. I would. I think he's a really good each way bet, though, if you know what I mean. I'd be if I backed him. I'm not saying he's my number one, but if he placed, I'd say cool, that's fine. I'd find it quite hard to see him out the first three. I think he's absolutely an Aintree horse as well. He's won here previously. Some horses are just deadly well suited to Aintree, just like we see it every single year. I think he's one of them, but also Jet to Vegas for Lucinda Russell as well. Um, it's easy to get sucked into all of the big trainers, big owners. But I'll tell you what, she's training some really good horses at the moment, Lucinda Russell. I really like what this fella did at Ayr a couple of starts back, beat a horse called Admiral Stewart from the Kim Bailey yard. He's really well touted, came from a point-to-point scene. He's done plenty of bits. And then Jet to Vegas beat Chart Topper for the Willie Munnins team as well. So look, from the each way angles, I'm like you, Jim. I think Cocktail Divan is probably the class angle in this race. But I think Jet to Vegas and Horace's Pearl, if anyone's looking for the each way money at the minute, they are well worth a second look at Aintree. That's important. At Aintree.
Lovely. Jet to Vegas each way for Joe with Horace's Pearl. Cocktail Van strong for me. Scotty, are you with all of us or different someone else?
Do you know what? I might get some abuse in the comments and I might get booed, but I'm quite keen on Regent Stroll for this race.
Ooh,
I
ooh.
know. Do you know what?
But anyway, go on. You never know. Go on. Yeah.
I mean, everyone was saying the same about Coldwell Potter heading into Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Connection-wise, everyone's like,
Fair
"Oh, he's
point. Fair
useless,"
point.
blah blah blah. But I tell you what, Jamie, he's his form's not worked out too bad. I've been looking back through it. Everyone thinks
Hmm.
he's a no-hoper. I mean, he beat Good and Clever at Newbury, a track very similar to Aintree, beaten well, 9.5 lengths. Good and Clever was third at the DRF, albeit beaten well by Kopek de Board, who's won the Supreme. Then you look at the form of the new line. He wasn't beaten far on the Challow. Wendigo and the Albert Bartlett all ties in well. Bill Joyce, a Grade 2 winner earlier in the season at Sandown. And then I know he disappointed at Exeter, but again, going probably right-handed, don't think plays to his strengths. Over 2 miles, step up and trip the last day. Absolutely hacked up at Wincanton. They actually even pulled him up on the line. He could have won by as far as he wanted. I just think this is the kind of race, good ground, big galloping track like Aintree, going left-handed. 10 to 1 is a very tempting price each way for me. Um, I know he was a 12s on shot the last day and he was well entitled to win, but I just think Cocktail Divan is a very, very good horse, like you say, but he stands out as probably the second best horse in the race for me. So I'll be backing him each way at tens, and again hoping to get a nice return for a place. And if he wins, happy days.
Lovely, Scotty. Cocktail event for me, Jet to Vegas, and Horses Pearl for Joe, and a big shout each way for Regent Stroll for Scotty. So we move on to the Liverpool Hurl. There's 305, 3 miles, a half a furlong. The favourite here is Tupu, which I don't know if he's coming here or not. He normally goes to Punchestown. It's 2 to 1. Home by the least sixes, along with strong leader, the Wall Park, all at 6 to 1. 8 to 1, Gwenny Mayboy. 8 to 1, Kitzbühel Hell. 10 to 1, last year's second, Hidden Valley Lake. And 16 to 1, Jimmy the Soy. Joe, we'll start with you again. Any fancy here?
Not really, no, but I'd be really interested to see how Kits Buhal gets on here. He could obviously run against Con Hill in the Aintree Hurdle as well, so there's a few options for him. I'm just sorry, I'm just intrigued to see where his ceiling is. He's only a 5-year-old at the moment. He won that race last time out as well, and he got one clip after he landed on, the finishing line side of the hurdle. Got another clip 2 strides later, but from there on, he was pretty much just hands and heels, just being kept up to his work. He has the potential to be an absolute monster, this horse does. Whether he is or not, I don't know. But the fact that we've got good ground here, I've got a feeling it's going to suit him quite well. Whereas it won't with Tia Hoopu, it probably won't with the Wall Park, it probably won't with Strong Leader. Montmorel wants cutting the ground. Home by the Lean needs it softer. So I'd just be intrigued to see how he gets on. Again, I'm looking at a few each way angles. Kits Buhal and Jimmy DeSoy. He won plenty easy last time out, coming off a long layoff to win the Coral Cup, wasn't it, that he won? I'd be fine to take a swing at those two each way. I've done my money on Tia Hoopu. I'm not willing to forgive him here. So I got a fair few each way shouts this week, but Kits Buhal and Jimmy DeSoy, I don't think they're going to be far away over 3 miles anyway.
Lovely. Kitzbühel and Jimmy Desai for Joe, Winnie Mullins. Scotty, who wins this?
Very weird. It's like Joe's been here with me doing the notes and doing the research because I said Jimmy DeSoyle and Kitzbühel were the most interesting each way. That's the way I saw it as well, to be honest. I think Jimmy DeSoyle is a Grade 1 horse. I think he's a bit of a lurker, proven in the Coral Cup. So I definitely think he's a big each way play in the race. But again, going just back to form, I mean, Tiapu can't have him again. I think in the Stayers Hurdle, losing to Bob Ollinger like he did. Fair enough, Bob Ollinger's a good horse at Cheltenham, but
He has
I
to have
wouldn't touch
soft,
him on.
Scotty, doesn't he now? Like he has to have soft now, doesn't he?
I think it almost confirmed the last day at
Yeah.
Cheltenham that he's a very ground dependent horse. But I'm just going back to the biggest mistake I made at Cheltenham was just ignoring horses who have got consistent course form and strong leaders got course form. I know he's been disappointing. Crambo is a very similar kind of profiled horse. I wrote him off totally at Ascot earlier in the season, going back to a course he's very effective at. I think strong leaders in the same mould, to be honest with you. I think 6-1 again, another scared each way bet possibly. Don't think he'll be far away if he runs up to his mark. But yeah, I'd probably just chuck a couple of darts each way on Jimmy de Soil. And again, it's not a massively strong opinion, maybe a more of a watching brief. But those were the three that took my interest. But Jimmy de Soil just at the prices was the one for me.
Yeah, I would be with you, Scotty, if it was 12 months next year in the Stairs Hurl with Jimmy Desai, unless
Mm.
he goes chasing. But yeah, I think the bounce factor would worry me there. The dreaded bounce factor, if it ever existed. I think this is a two-horse race. Tupo, I don't think will run. The ground will be too quick. Home by Liddy's no chance. Wall Park won't go on the ground. Hidden Valley Lake probably wants a little bit softer. I know it was second in the race last year. I mean, like 6-1 for last year's winner, and Eddie Murphy always says he wants better ground. Strong leader, flat track horse, won the race last year. 6-1 is massive. But the only other horse I know has a lot to find, only won a handicap here last year off 126, but the way it won and the way it won at Haydock looks like it likes flat left-handed tracks. And if he ran in the per times, I'd back him in the per times, and it's Gwenny May Boy. I think he's the only danger. He's a lot to find. He has about 10 pound to find on with strong leader. So to me, I'll take two darts at this, being unoriginal. I think last year's winner would take a lot of beating the strong leader at 6-1, but I have a feeling that Gwenny May Boy is better than it's been showing. And 8-1 as well, I'll have a bit of that as well. So they're my two against the field in that. So a strong leader for me and Gwenny May Boy. Right, we'll move on to the 5 o'clock is the Michael Novices Chase. There's only 7 runners being entered, and Scotty's tipped up rookie for the Red Rum. We have no prices. It's the 5 o'clock, 2 miles after the Grand National. We've Gidley Park here, Kid if the Burley, Load of Sud, only by night, special cadeau and touch me not. Scotty, Load of Sud, penalty kick here.
No, just I've had a look on the Ante-Post market this evening. There is actually some prices on Betfair. I think Lodersud's 5-4, Caliph de Burley 7-2, and 4-1 Gidley Park. I mentioned him earlier in the show. I was impressed by Gidley Park when he beat Coldwell Potter in the Winter Millions meeting at Windsor early in the season. I thought he was a stayer, Gidley Park, but he was really impressive that day after that setback he had at Kempton, that fall in that race. Caliph de Burley again, and Loader Sud. You'd imagine they're both going to run. Caliph de Burley's had Aintree as his main target for the season, according to Paul Nichols. And Loader Sud, I think, just had a hard race at Cheltenham, and I'm just starting to doubt whether he is just top draw. So for me, I think Gidley Park's to play in a race at 4-1. I wouldn't touch Loader Sud at 5-4 now. So yeah, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to keep the faith with Gidley Park one more time. And I think he's a good bet here at fours.
I'm going to definitely sit in the fence here, but I don't know, I think Special Cadeau has a chance here. I like the good ground. He won, but I know the form wasn't great at Thurdis, but if he's a decent bet and I can get a bit of a place bet on him maybe in the first two or something like that on the better ground, I might back that because I think this, I just don't like any of these horses. No, well, I did like Only by Night, but I don't know, would this be a sharp 2 miles be her back? Maybe it will be. But yeah, it's a tough race. You could, like, anyone could win it, to be honest, Joe. Out of the 6 and 7 of them, anyway. Joe?
Yeah, no real say. I'm similar to you there, really,
Yeah.
James. Like it's
Yeah.
been quite quick for only by night, quick turnaround. Load Sud, he had a hard race in the Kingmaker and the hard race at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
It's difficult to see him backing it up. Is this where, Scotty's mentioned Regent Stroll? Is this just going to be like where Nichols just reminds everyone that he's a top class trainer again, and so like
Hmm.
Caliph de Burley goes and wins after coming here fresh. He's only a 5-year-old taking on his older horses here. He's off 152. He's obviously going to be better than that. Doesn't need to improve much to win this, really.
Does it not worry you the run at Sandown? He was well beaten by handstands.
Yeah,
And Django Bay obviously won the Arkle, who was just touched off. I know he was beaten out of sight on different ground, but that's the only thing that put me off because I would have put him up if he had run better in that race.
yeah, possibly because he's by Masked Marvel as well, and they usually like sort of like the deep ground, but he obviously didn't handle it too well, or something might have been amiss. I'd just give him maybe one more chance here, but I'll see how I've gone throughout the week before backing him at the same time because he's not going to go off short. So he'd be another tentative selection, so we say.
Lovely. Right, quickly. So, any other fantasies? Well, we'll be doing the Grand National on Thursday. Nap, so lads, for Saturday. Tough one, this one.
I hmm, I'm struggling, boys. I am struggling for a nap on the Saturday.
I'll go for Gidley Park in the Mag Novices Chase at 4-1.
Lovely. I'll go with my nap is Cocktail Divan in the what's it? The Mersey Novices Hurdle over 2.5 miles. Joe, struggling.
Yeah, I am struggling a bit here. Let's go with hmm, let's go with Kit's Boohow each way if he turns up in the Liverpool hurdle.
Lovely. So that's all. 3 days done in about 45 minutes. I think this is the quickest in record we've done all season. Thanks again for tuning in. We're proudly sponsored by Ante-Checker. We will be back Thursday night with the Runner by Runner guide for the Grand National, something new and different to the channel. Thanks again to my wingman, Bossman Gent,
Thanks, Jane. Thanks a
and
lot.
Scotty Bad Boy Bowles, the Frenchman himself.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Joe.
And to me, Jamie Wrenn, over and out, and we'll see you Thursday night.
Big up Felipe.